Most people adore cats, but for some, even the sight of one sends shivers down their spine. From ancient fears to modern phobias, the fear of cats, Ailurophobia, has haunted some of history's most powerful figures. But why? And how has this strange fear endured through centuries? Do you know someone who's afraid of cats? Or maybe you yourself have felt that fear? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Let's begin by defining the term Ailurophobia, from the Greek ailuros, meaning cat, and phobos, meaning fear. It's more than mere dislike. For many, it's intense panic, avoidance, even hallucination in extreme cases. Early medical references appear in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when specific phobias were first formally classified. Clinicians linked these fears to the brain's fear circuitry, particularly the amygdala. Symptoms include sweating, racing heartbeat, panic, and avoidance behavior. For some, the reaction is disproportionate to the actual risk classic for a specific phobia. Clinicians categorize ailurophobia as a specific phobia when it significantly impairs daily life. To understand why cats inspired fear, we need to look at culture and history. Let's travel through time to see how meanings around cats changed. In ancient Egypt, cats were sacred, linked to the goddess Bastet and household protection. To fear a sacred animal would have been culturally taboo in many communities. Reverence made overt fear less common publicly, though private anxieties could still exist. By medieval Europe, cats had a darker reputation, often linked to witchcraft and the devil. Superstition and fear of the unknown made it easy to associate cats with evil. Cats were sometimes depicted as companions to witches, an image that fed public anxiety. Pamphlets and folklore amplified these negative images across communities. In parts of Asia, cats were sometimes linked to mystery, transformation, or bad omens. But representations varied. In some contexts, they were protective, in others, portentous. Folklore across cultures shaped emotional responses. Stories spread quickly without scientific checks. These stories seeded attitudes that could persist for generations. Even leaders and famous figures were not immune to these anxieties. Next, we'll look at notable figures reputed to fear cats and how those stories survived. Stories claim Genghis Khan refused to enter buildings where cats lived. Whether literal or exaggerated, such tales illustrate how fear can shape behavior. Some sources say he avoided cats. Others question the reliability of those reports. Napoleon Bonaparte was reportedly startled by cats jumping unexpectedly, an anecdote that became part of his popular biography. Historians debate how accurate these personal anecdotes are. Accounts from staff suggest Adolf Hitler had discomfort around cats documented in some memoirs. But personal memoirs are subjective, and memory can be unreliable. So how should we read these stories? With caution. Ailurophobia among famous people often becomes folklore stories repeated, reshaped, and sometimes sensationalized. What matters is that these narratives show how fear can be both personal and cultural. Once an anecdote is told about a famous figure, it spreads easily, especially when it's sensational. Over time, small details can morph into accepted fact. Historians urge source-critical reading, especially for personal anecdotes about behavior. Still, these stories stick because fear is vivid and memorable. To understand the why, we turn to psychology. Whether true or embellished, these tales show how fear lives in both personal biography and cultural myth. Now, how do these fears form? Ailurophobia can arise for many reasons: childhood trauma, cultural learning, or neurological sensitivity. Often it's a combination rather than a single cause. A single frightening encounter in childhood can imprint a lasting fear response. Memory and emotion are tightly linked. Fearful events are remembered more vividly. Children also learn from caregivers. If a parent reacts fearfully, the child may adopt that response. Media and folklore reinforce stereotypes that can fuel phobic responses. Some people have neurological hypersensitivity, stronger threat signaling in the brain. This can make benign stimuli feel dangerous. Symptoms include sweating, shaking, panic attacks, and avoidance that can affect daily life. Avoidance can mean missed opportunities and strained relationships. The good news: most people improve significantly with treatment. Common approaches include cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, and increasingly, virtual reality. CBT helps patients reframe fearful thoughts and test assumptions about danger. By challenging beliefs, the emotional response often softens. Exposure therapy uses gradual, controlled contact with the feared object step by step. Over time, the nervous system learns that the cat does not predict catastrophe. Virtual reality offers a safe space to practice exposure when live animals are impractical. Studies show significant improvement for many patients using these methods. Simple techniques, controlled breathing, grounding, and graded practice help in the moment. Small wins add up. Many patients regain confidence around animals. With help, fear becomes manageable and often fades. From superstition to neuroscience, the story of Ailurophobia shows how culture and biology intertwine. Whether you love cats or fear them, one thing is clear: even the smallest creatures can stir deep emotions. If this video made you curious, subscribe for more stories at the intersection of history and psychology.